going on, guys? Derek here from Wilson Audio Labs. Today we're going to look at a Rockford Fosgate Prime 500-watt monoblock amplifier. If we go to our favorite shopping experience online, Amazon, go to electronics, car audio, amplifiers, mono amplifiers, and then look under to the best sellers. You see this is number 2 behind the Boss Riot 1100 that we've already tested. So we already figured we've tested the Alpine 500-watt. Let's try out the Rockford Fosgate. This one's $129 when I bought it. Now it's $131. But hey, you know how Amazon is. Price fluctuates a lot. Burst sheet says 647 watts. Let's pull it out of the box and see what is inside. All right, so we have everything unwrapped. You can see what we have here. It comes with a bass knob, which has a power LED. It doesn't have a clip light, but it does have a power LED. Here is the bass cable, which uses the RGA style connectors, which stay in, which is nice. Then you have the manual with a high level adapter, mounting screws, and some hex keys. So here is the amplifier. The design, very basic looking. Actually looks pretty nice if you ask me. It's 8.5 inches long by 6.8 inches wide. You can see the metric equivalents there as well. And then the thickness is pretty standard for most amps, around 2 inches or 50 millimeters. The simplistic design here on the top of the amp shows a power protect light, punch EQ, frequency adjustment for the low pass crossover, phase adjustment, and gain control. Then we look at the side of the amp, we see the remote punch level, high level input, RCA input, pass through, speaker output, and then the ground, remote, and power input. Those accept 4 gauge. And what I really like about this is all of the screws here use the same size Allen key. Go Rockford. It is such a pain when you're hooking up amps to have to find 10 different Allen keys. So way to go, Rockford. Now that we have the amp all wired up, let's fire up the Amplifier Dyno from DeMoore Engineering, Steve Mead Designs. And yeah, let's run some tests. You can see here, got everything hooked up nice and clean, just like the way we like it. Let's try the 4 ohm test, rated 300 watts, 14.4 volts DC, 1% total harmonic distortion. Certified test simulates that. We let our voltage go a little bit under 14.4. 350 watts, 14.32, very nice. Uncertified takes us up to clipping. This is more along the lines of what subwoofer amps you should expect power from. 356, 14.24. Now dynamic test simulates pulse tone of 40 hertz going into the amplifier. See what kind of headroom it has. Not a ton of headroom here at 4 ohms. 365 at 14.49. And here's an example of the efficiency, 83.4%. The certified test, very nice. All right, now we'll try the 2 ohm test. This is a 2 ohm rated amplifier. It's rated 500 watts, 14.4 volts, 1% THD. This first test simulates 1% THD. What do we get? 580, 14.11. Nicely did more than the rated power. Uncertified test takes us up to clipping. There we go, 611 watts, right at 14 volts. Dynamic. Yes, now we do have some dynamic headroom here. You can see at 2 ohms. 691, 14.41. Very nice. And we'll check the efficiency here as well. 79% on the certified test. Go Rockford, that's very good. All right, next up we'll check out the results. Kicking it faux show. This amplifier did well, did its rated power and more. You can see the 4 ohm and 2 ohm tests there. You can pause this if you want to see, but yeah, we did more than rated at all the tests, so very nice. We like that. You might see the 1 ohm test there on the right side, so if you want to see that, you might want to stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to show you. Now, what about what's inside? Yep, probably some amp guts. We're going to show you anyway. Let's take out these screws. There's 3 here on the front, and then there's about 6 on the bottom. Let's take them off, and we'll see what's inside. Now you may notice here I was struggling a little bit. I've sped this video up 6 times, but I was still struggling to get that bottom panel off, but I finally got it off like a boss. Here you can see the interior. Love the way Rockford does their layouts here, and what's really cool too is they brand their own caps. These are Yuscon caps, but they still put their own branding on there. You can see the layout here. You can see the transformer, the choke, the little daughter board there that has the crossovers on it. Here are the 105 degrees Celsius caps. These are for the rails. These are 2200 microfarad, 63 volts. And for input filtering, we have 25 volt, 2200 microfarad. This amp was made back in 2016 version 1.1, and it was passed by Inspector 13. What do you got to say?
Inspector 12, when I grow up, I want to be just like you.
You do?
Yeah, a real test budget.
All right, next up, let's try the Lord of Bass Gately audio box, see how it does. All right, now let's take a look at the good stuff. Has 4-gauge power and ground inputs, does rated power plus some, has pass-through RCAs for connecting another amp, includes a bass remote which the Alpine did not. All the connections are on one side. One Allen key does the power, ground, remote, and the speaker terminals, has excellent efficiency, and the value for the money is unsurpassed. And we'll talk about the stuff that could be a little better. It only has one speaker output, does not have a subsonic filter. It's not really 1 ohm stable, which if you stick around to the end of the video, you'll see that. Has angled power and ground inputs, and the looks are kind of plain. Again, the last two there are kind of subjective. So there you have it, my test of the Rockford Fosgate Prime R500X1D. This amplifier is actually discontinued. I believe the 2020 models are coming out soon. So if you're watching this in 2020, this may be a model that you haven't noticed, but I appreciate you guys watching as always. Till next time, Big D, I'm out of here. All right, we're going to try the Fosgate Prime 500 at 1 ohm. This is a 2 ohm stable amp, so it's not rated at 1 ohm. So if something happens to the amp, it is not Rockford's fault, it's mine. I just wanted to test it since we did it with the Alpine. See what we get. 1 ohm dynamic burst, 40 hertz. All right, 1157 watts at 14.27. Now you couldn't tell, or maybe you could by the dyno, but the amp was going in and out of protect. So I don't think it's going to run either the certified or uncertified test at 1 ohm. But yeah, dynamically 1150 watts, that's amazing. All right, Fosgate Prime 500. This is a 2 ohm stable amp, but since we tried the Alpine at 1 ohm, I figured we would try the Rockford at 1 ohm. It's not rated to handle this load, so if something happens to the amp, it's completely my fault. But anyway, let's give it a run at 40 hertz, see how it does. Here we go, fire in the hole. All right, so it went into protect at 819 watts certified, 14.38, pretty good. Fosgate Prime 500, let's try 1 ohm uncertified up to clipping. Not rated to handle this load. Let's see what we get. All right, it shut itself down and protect at 883, 14.22.